difficult to obtain a majority vote. A member may nominate any member, including themselves. Nominations are open for the chair position.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I believe we have lost quorum.
Oh, okay, no problem. Thank you so much for noting that. We've lost quorum, and so we'll wait until we have quorum again. We need 6 to conduct business for the board. Thank you for noting that.
Madam Chair, there were 7 board members present.
We'll wait. Thank you so much. I feel like we need waiting music. Mr. Fitzpatrick, are you able to see if everything's okay, please? I don't want them to be sick or anything. Thank you. We do have a quorum. As per parliamentarian procedure, the chair will remain in their position as chair during the election. The chair will not tally the votes or have an interference in the election process. Did you want to call the roll again to just ensure for the public that they see 6, please? Thank you.
Mrs. Adam Stafford? Mrs. Adam Stafford?
Present, thank you.
Dr. Anderful?
Present.
Ms. Busa Strother?
Present.
Mr. Briggs? Ms. Brown?
Present.
Mrs. Frazier? Mr. Jackson? Mr. Jungo?
Present.
Dr. Moss?
Present.
Ms. Walker?
Present. Thank you so much.
There's
There's
7 present.
Thank you so much. Oh, yeah. The chair reminds the members, with there being 10 members, the vote necessary for election is 6 or more, a majority of the board. With more than 2 candidates for a single position on a small board, it'll be difficult to obtain a majority vote. A member may nominate any member, including themselves. Nominations are in fact open for the chair. Are there any nominations for chair?
I nominate Brandon Jackson.
Thank you so much. Board Member Brandon Jackson is nominated for chair.
I nominate Lolita E. Walker for chair.
Board Member Lolita E. Walker is nominated for chair. Are there any additional nominations? 1 second, we do have a light, so let me address that. Oh, it was you by accident. Okay, thank you. There being no other names, nominations are closed. The two candidates for chair are Board Member Brandon Jackson and Board Member Lolita E. Walker. Each candidate will proceed with a 2.5-minute or less speech for their candidacy of chair in the order, perfect timing, in the order of nominations. So welcome, Brandon. You were nominated for the chair of the Prince George. We're giving you a break. I'm talking before you talk. I'm talking before you talk so you can get your breath together. You are nominated for the chair of the Board of Education for Prince George's County, Maryland. And the floor, when you are ready and catch your breath, is open for your 2.5-minute or less speech for the candidacy of chair. Yeah, it's in the order of the, yeah, I'm happy to go first. It's not a problem at all. Absolutely. If you could start the 2.5 minutes. Hello, everyone. I am Lolita E. Walker, and I have had the privilege to be able to serve you for the last 6 months as the chair of the Board of Education. In those 6 months, prior to that, I was the vice chair for 2 years, well, 1.5 years. And I am excited to be able to continue the work and work with our newly elected folks that are on the board. I am not only a mom of a Prince George's County scholar, but I also graduated from both middle school and high school from Prince George's County in District 9 that I proudly serve. As far as the presidency goes or the chairmanship goes, since I've been in office, I'm super excited about a number of wins that we have had. We have not only had a renewing and it's more than a notion to educate, advocate, and act together. Now, in education, my goal is to continue to not only educate ourselves as board members by way of policy, by way of procedure, but also educate our constituency on things that they might not recognize, what the board does, what policies and procedures are, and to be able to effectively advocate to that end, and then acting together is so important. When it comes to making sure that the Board of Education works in tandem with our superintendent, what is important is that we recognize what our role is. The chair's role is to facilitate, actually to guide and facilitate the work of the board. And that work of the board is about fiduciary responsibilities, and it's also about policy and governance. It's also about working with our superintendent and his administration to ensure effectiveness and efficiency for what is necessary, with our scholars always at the forefront. That's really, really important to me. When I look at my 12-year-old son who is in middle school at this particular time, I can look for nothing more than to be able to represent him sitting inside of this space in this place. So I am excited at the opportunity to be able to come before you and lead at a full term of 2 years, because we have so much work to do, and I know that the demonstration of that leadership has been in effect for the last 6 months. So I thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Mr. Brandon Jackson, you have 2.5 minutes or less for your speech as well. If you can reset. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So good day, everybody. Initially, I didn't plan to run for this position, but when I learned about the president-elect's desire to dismantle our education system as we know it, I knew I couldn't sit on the sidelines. I had to act. Right now, we are facing one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime. Our history is under attack. Our children, especially those from low to moderate income households, are under attack. Title I schools, which provide vital support to our most vulnerable students, are under attack. Many of our community schools offer wraparound services that go far beyond education. Some provide multiple meals a day, the only balanced meal some of our children might get. I couldn't stand by and watch my scholars, our scholars, suffer and be neglected. I am a firm believer that if you want change, you must be the change you seek. That is why I'm stepping into action. I am here to protect our community, to preserve our history, and to shore a better future for our scholars, whether they're black, white, brown, yellow, from low-income families, or more well-off. My mission is simple. It's to protect home base. We must make sure our children have access to the resources, education, and infrastructure they need to thrive. Together we can build a future where every child has the opportunity to succeed, no matter their background or circumstances. Thank you for standing with me in this fight to rescue our children and secure our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. The proceedings will go as follows. Mr. Fitzpatrick, our board director, will serve as our teller for this process, using a roll call by board member's name. At the conclusion, Mr. Fitzpatrick will repeat each name, followed by the number of votes the candidate received. When the results are compiled, the chair will restate the same information and state the results. Mr. Fitzpatrick, please proceed with the roll call vote for the first candidate.
This is for candidate 1, Brandon Jackson. Mrs. Adam Stafford.
Aye.
Dr. Anderful.
Aye.
Ms. Boozer Strother.
No.
Mr. Briggs.
Aye.
Ms. Brown.
No.
Mrs. Frazier. Mr. Jackson.
Aye.
Mr. Jongo.
Aye.
Dr. Moss.
Aye.
Ms. Walker.
Nay.
For candidate 2, Lolita E. Walker, Mrs. Adam Stafford.
Nay.
Dr. Anderful.
Nay.
Ms. Boozer Strother.
Aye.
Mr. Briggs.
No.
Ms. Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier. Mr. Jackson.
No.
Mr. Jongo.
Nay.
Dr. Moss.
Nay.
Ms. Walker.
Aye.
Board member Brandon Jackson received 6 votes in the affirmative. Board member Lolita E. Walker received 3 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you so much. Board Member Brandon Jackson has received 6 votes in the affirmative. Board Member Lolita E. Walker has received 3 votes in the affirmative. The chair declares that Board Member Brandon Jackson has been elected chair. Congratulations. Before we continue with anything additional planned, as the former chair, I want to thank God for first putting a hedge of protection around me during the course of this leadership to be able to leverage my words to continuously uplift our scholars for District 9 and beyond. Thank you to all the board members, the former board members, the new board members for their dedication to the scholars of Prince George's County Public Schools. Likewise, I'd also like to thank Superintendent House and the PGCPS administration for their partnership over the past 6 months. Finally, a huge thank you to Mr. Farrar, Mr. Swift, Mr. Fitzpatrick, who put up with me, the staff, the security for keeping us safe, our communications and IT, who support us in running efficient and effective proceedings for all board business. With congratulations, the chair passes the gavel to the newly elected chair, Brandon Jackson, to preside over the remainder of the meeting. And so,
That's a lot of change.
All right, give me a second to get adjusted. Before you get started, I want to say, I had a couple words that I just want to say. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He is my source and my strength. I want to thank all of my fellow board members for entrusting me with the confidence to lead this board. I want to say also thank you to my wife for allowing me to do this, because she was on the fence about it, but she said she gonna let me do it. So I just want to say thank you to her. And for everybody who didn't vote for me, I'm coming for y'all. I'm just joking. But I just hope that you guys, give me the opportunity to gain your confidence and your trust, and we can work together to make sure that this board is as strong as we can be. So before we proceed, the chair recognizes, I want to recognize Superintendent House for his brief remarks.
We need to switch your name tags as well, just FYI, because I don't want to call you Madam Chair. So Chair Jackson, thank you for passing the mic for just a moment. I want to bring our attention just to thank Board Member Walker for her dedicated leadership and service to PGCPS as chair. Your commitment to the students, quite frankly, educators, families, especially those in District what? District 9. She was...
Mike, I'm sorry. My mic wasn't on. District 9.
But not only District 9, she saw the bigger view for all Prince George's County families, and we appreciate that it's had a meaningful impact on the district. I personally deeply appreciate your tireless vision. At times, I don't know that you sleep, but it's obvious that it's about fostering excellence and equity and education for all of our kiddos in Prince George's County. So with that being said, I want to present you with a plaque that essentially indicates Lolita E. Walker, Chair, 2024 Prince George's County Board of Education. Only those who risk going too far can possibly find how far they can go. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
All right, now we're moving to 2.3, the election of the vice chair. The board will now elect the vice chair. The chair will not tally the, Reveal. Okay, the chair will not tally the votes or have interference in the election process. The chair remains the members with being 10 members. The vote necessary for the election is 6 or more, a majority of the board. With more than 2 candidates on a small board, it will be difficult to obtain a majority vote. A member may nominate any member, including themselves. Nominations are open to the vice chair. Are there any nominations for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Jonathan Briggs.
Are there any additional nominees? Board Member Jonathan Briggs is nominated for vice chair. There being no other names nominated, nominations are closed. So Jonathan Briggs is the only nominee. And he can now proceed with his 2.5 minutes remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair Jackson. Dear colleagues, I want to start by saying thank you for the opportunity to present my candidacy. I've thought long and hard about this decision, and I'm happy to share more about my candidacy with you all today. First, from a practical stance, I've attended most of all of our board meetings, committee meetings, and have an attendance rating equivalent to that of our former chair and current chair. When it comes to being at all scheduled meetings, this is something that I will continue to prioritize because I understand this is how the work moves forward. Our public and community rely on us to do the board's work. A vote for me would ensure that we are prepared and organized to be effective, well-planned, and coordinated in our meetings in partnership with the chair. Additionally, I believe I brought a collaborative and fair-minded approach to this work since my time on the board, mainly because a vital value that I hold is inclusivity. My stance is, regardless of my personal feelings or stance, it is my job to be neutral and curious, taking into consideration all viewpoints and perspectives, and then working collaboratively to drive change, including all relevant stakeholders, such as the community, local leaders, and the list goes on. Lastly, I believe that important leadership qualities like consensus building, collaboration, equity, and active listening are also important values that I have demonstrated as a board member and also as chair of the P&G committee. Second, from a personal perspective, I've been committed to education equity for the past 10 years. From a near-peer mentor with City of Chicago, working to address the dropout crisis in struggling Chicago public schools, to teaching cohorts of students in Kansas City, Missouri, who were equally disadvantaged and from some of the toughest neighborhoods, to a commitment to continuous learning and development and community engagement, even advancing things like a children's cabinet while working in the Illinois Secretary of Education's office, or advancing safe passage initiatives in D.C. with the Deputy Mayor of Education's office, or working on key legislation like the Strength and Diversity Act of 2021 while working in Marsha Fudge's office on Capitol Hill. I've committed myself to being a champion, student, and advocate of education equity, and I continue to keep those priorities near and dear while serving as a school board member. If voted as vice chair, my primary goal would be to help us collectively work together to actualize our vision for a stronger, more inclusive, innovative, and equity-driven school system that puts students first. Of course, none of this will be easy. Still, I know that's why we each came to this work, and as vice chair, I would hope to catalyze a collaborative, detail-oriented, and organized approach to our meetings in collaboration with the chair to advance the important work that impacts our students. Lastly, I'm not a perfect person or leader by any means. I will need your support to make this work, but that is the beauty of this opportunity. We have so much we can do, and I've seen that we are so much better together than apart. My goal as vice chair would be to amplify your voices, the voices of students, parents, teachers, administrators, and community partners, among others, to actualize those ideas, passions, and innovations. This team has so much expertise, historical knowledge, wisdom, brilliance, grit, and enterprising gifts. Truly, there is so much room for innovation and the possibility to dream big. All of it is in service of impacting our students, and so I hope that you'll take under consideration my candidacy for vice chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Briggs. The proceedings will go as follows. Mr. Fitzpatrick, our board director, will serve as our teller in this process.
Mr. Chair, I apologize, Mr. Chair. Point of parliamentary procedure. As there's only one candidate, I believe the chair can declare Mr. Briggs the winner, but you may want to confer with the parliamentarian.
Okay, you're right. Sorry, y'all, bear with me while we just got this script, so I'm trying to make sure that we stay on path. So the chair declares that Jonathan Briggs has been elected as the vice chair. Round of applause. Now we're moving to 4.0 adjournment. To all of our viewers in person and online, we will begin our regularly scheduled business meeting at 5:30 p.m. with the open session reconvening at 7 p.m. There will be no further business at this time now. On the day of December 5th, 2024, the annual meeting of Prince George's County Board of Education is now adjourned. At 5:30 p.m. Thank you.